So today we're back checking out more Iron Maiden on our journey to cover every Iron Maiden song. This is Charlotte the Harlot. I've heard this, I think. You know what I really appreciate about this, and Maiden does this a lot, but especially in the old days back here. If I made you feel old, it's okay. I'm there with you. They've got two guitars playing the same thing with two different tone sets. One of it's basically, for lack of a better term, feels like it's just got all the mids completely taken out of it, kind of a warm brown soundy kind of feel, and the other one's a little bit more raw. So one's a cleaner, more of a da 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 da, and when it gang 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 gang, one of them's just a little more raw. Check this out. Maybe that's just the way they mixed them. I don't know. You can tell me more. I've heard this. I don't get into the meaning of songs a lot, but Charlotte the Harlot, I'm assuming this is about a whore or something. Just listening to Take Me to Bed, or I'll go back and listen to this chorus again, but I'm assuming that that's just the messaging of the song. But you hear what I'm talking about with the guitars there? There's two guitars basically playing the same thing, but just the way they've got them mixed or whatever it may be. You've got a warmer tone and a more aggressive tone. Let's back that up. Great riffs. Show me your name. Shout the Harlot. Take me to bed. I've definitely heard this before, just because that chorus just catches me. But I really want to hear that again. Just to really a giddy up kind of riff. Nothing overly aggressive, nothing, the funny part is when you think about, like, I'm an old school metalhead, right? You think about, like, metal. This is just kind of tinny stuff. This whole album really is. It's kind of interesting to, like, even put this visual of Eddie with this band. Some might sit back now in 2022 when I'm recording this and go, man, I'm not connecting these two, but there's an absolute connection. I mean, it just takes old metalhead Iron Maiden fans like us to really make that connection, I think. But I am just absolutely digging how this chorus builds up. Yeah, I stop a lot. It's a reaction video. The drums are actually what are really making the chorus for me. Check it. They're the energy changer. Very nice. feel like this is one of the better mixed songs on the actual album. And this is the 98 remaster, which pretty much everything I've listened to from this album was from the 98 remaster, so you never know. But I don't know if they've recorded these things in order in the studio, and maybe they got to, close to the last songs and they'd really dialed things in. If you're familiar with the story that I saw on Wikipedia, it pretty much told me that their producer took off on them. And they did this whole thing with Steve mainly heading the project in about 13 days. So the fact that this came out at all is quite remarkable. But I really like that the two tones that they've done with the guitars are just making one fantastic tone in my ear. And they're completely separate. And, I'm listening in headphones, so they're separated anyways. But this is just a nice, warm, giddy up kind of song, man, that just makes me feel really good. This is classic Iron Maiden. I love this.
Shout the Harlot, show me your leg. Shout the Harlot, take me to bed. Shout the Harlot, let me see blood. Shout the Harlot, let me see law.
I'm going to hear that again. I need to hear that again. I want to see if those guitars were harmonizing or if they were just synchronous. They're definitely harmonizing for sure. Ooh, we changed the mood.
There was a time when you left me standing there, picking up pieces of my pride.
Guys, if it's been a long time since you've actually listened to this song in headphones, put it in headphones. The magic that is happening in my right ear right now with rhythm guitar playing that clean out section is just absolutely fantastic. Some of the best writing that I've heard from them maybe ever. I mean, this is a fantastic song. It really is, and this was put out in 1980. I haven't heard this live a lot or anything. I know I've heard this song, maybe just because it's that memorable. But what both guitars are doing at this point in time is just pure magic to me.
There was a time when you left me standing there, picking up pieces of rock from the floor. Well, Charlotte, you left me alone in there to make your ends as a bloody war. Well, Charlotte, you told me you loved me true.
Paul really has a great voice here. He really does.
Picking up pieces of love yesterday.
That was interesting. Nice struggle.
Well, Charlotte, you draw set off color too. 'Cause you're making love all day. Oh, could you make it?
Well, no, I'm going to let him do that again. I just referenced Paul sounding really good here, so I'm definitely going to let him do that. Oh, did you make it? That almost was like Led Zeppelin-y to me. I'm sorry if that offends you for any reason, which it shouldn't, because it's a massive compliment. And considering the time this came from, I'm sure that he was likely inspired by Zepp. But that was very. It just kind of put me in a Zeppelin kind of mood.
Making love all day. Oh, could you make it? Oh, yeah. Oh, could you make
I'm the best air guitar player you've ever met. Nope. Doing it again. Without any interruption from me. So I'm kind of a weird guy, especially in my band. I do a lot of the vocal harmonizations. So when he goes into the Charlotte the Harlot, don't know the words. Charlotte the Harlot, don't know the words. Charlotte the Harlot, don't know the words. So I'm not going to pretend to, I don't want to get him wrong. But I'm hearing some high harmonies and things there that I can't tell if they vocally did them or if they did not, but they really could be used there. Here I am, trying to improve Iron Maiden. Somebody tell me to shut the hell up. Shout the Harlot, let me see blood. Shout the Harlot, let me see love. Great switch at the end. Did we get that in the beginning? I'm not going to go back and try to find it, but did we get that in the beginning? That was so familiar, but also I don't know that we got that. Anyways, that was Iron Maiden, Charlotte the Harlot. In case you're wondering, we're going through every Iron Maiden song in existence, at least trying to. So if there's some weird ones, like I think Women in Uniform is one that I'm getting ready to do here soon, that I was informed by one of the listeners here existed. Let me know those things. If you think, well, he probably knows that's there, think that I don't. Act as if I don't know. Just because basically I'm going through Wikipedia for everything at this point in time, which is also why I ask you guys a lot of questions that sometimes end up in Wikipedia. I'd rather hear it from you guys, and if somebody's wrong, usually somebody will correct them. You guys will have a conversation in the comments. I get to watch the whole thing. It allows me to kind of really get into the fandomness of Iron Maiden versus just the Wikipedia-ness of Iron Maiden. Charlotte the Harlot might be my favorite song on the album so far. For real. We'll have to check this out again and recap the whole album at the end of this thing. I think we're one song away. I think Iron Maiden, the Iron Maiden, is the only song that we have left to do from this album. So, I mean, that fantastic. Classic Iron Maiden. It's interesting because I feel like this, I don't know why I feel like this. Maybe it's just because I've gotten used to the sound. You know, I'm used to more modern Iron Maiden. I'm a Bruce Dickinson child. I discovered Maiden during their Fear of the Dark album, which I think was like 90, 91. I would have been like a freshman in high school at that point in time. Boom! I just made a lot of you feel older than me. Wow! I love it. I didn't do it on purpose, but it is what it is, guys. Trust me. I got hair issues too, so I'm with you. At the end of the day, man, this feels like it got better. This feels like this was written 6 months later than the other stuff. And from a writing perspective, it may have been. You know, when bands write albums, I've written albums. I've got 3 of them. When bands write these things, sometimes you've got songs on the albums that are from 4 years ago versus songs that are now. I've got a song on our Letter to Fear EP, and if you're interested in my band, by the way, there's a link in the description. But I've got a song on our Letter to Fear EP that was a song that I wrote 4, 5, 6 years before. And sometimes they kind of stick out, and sometimes you just don't realize that that was what was needed at the time, and you only had one song, and now you've got a whole album of songs that fit it. But this feels like they improved. Whether it was recording, mixing, engineering, a combination of all the above, and I know it's the remastered, but this feels like the most completely mixed, put together song on the album. The bass wasn't out too much, but it was out just enough. The guitar tones were dialed in together to really make that one synchronous tone, but you can completely tell that they were separate. I loved Paul's vocals in this. This is my favorite Paul song at this point in time, and I think it might be my favorite song on the album. Maybe it's just because I listened to it today and I'm loving it. I don't know, but I'm thoroughly enjoying this. We've got one song left on the album before we move on to the next. We'll do Women in Uniform in between. But again, if you think there's some of those weird missing songs I might not know about, B-sides, singles, Japan-only releases, UK-only releases, anything like that, I want to know about those. I'm trying to stay in order, but if I don't, not that big of a deal. We still want to hit them. So if I miss something, let me know, because this playlist is for us. This isn't for views. Look at the views on this thing. We're Maiden fans, guys. We're not making money here. They are. We're letting them. This is for us. I'm doing this for me as a journey of discovery from music. I've always wanted to go back through the Maiden playlist. I know about 25 of their songs really, really well, and they're all the greatest hit stuff, and they're almost all exclusively Bruce Dickinson sang stuff. Doesn't mean he wrote them, but he's been the guy I've heard singing them. So I'm loving going back and experiencing all this. There's more to come. Stay tuned for the final off this album, and I'll try to do a little bit more Wikipedia research for that one so we can maybe kind of recap what this album was, some of the struggles they had in the studio, some of the struggles they may have had with the writing process on this, travel, management, any of those cool stories that you think you know about the recording of this specific album. Throw them in the comments, because we'll have a little recap at the end of this when I do Iron Maiden, and I'd like to kind of like tie this thing off with a nice little bow so this can sit there for all the people that are going to discover Iron Maiden because of us. I am just a classic old school metalhead, always have been, always will be. If you're coming over here from another video and you're like, man, this sounds pretty good compared to that song I was just listening to from this other artist, well, they probably got inspired by this band. Go check out this playlist so you can subscribe just to this playlist if you want to. Videos will keep coming out, whether it's 2 months or 2 years. I don't know how long it's going to take to do this entire thing, but as long as the channel's still alive and I'm still alive, we'll keep doing it. So wish me the best, and I will wish you the best. For those that are already in that Iron Maiden family with me, I once again, this was a great video. Thanks for joining me.